Hi, everybody. Here are your directions for the Lesson 2 assignment. So, the Lesson 2 assignment is going to be our first day actually getting into Patient Zero. We're going to read the first 8 or 9 pages of it. And we have 3 primary learning tasks. First, you're going to spend some time talking about unfamiliar words and phrases. That's not that big of a deal, it's just vocab. Second is reading the first couple pages of the book. And third is looking at the structures that are used in that text. Let's keep going here. As per usual, the first thing you're going to do is get into the Pear Deck. How are you today? Go ahead and tell me how you're feeling, but I'm actually going to switch over here to this version so it's a little bit easier for you to see what's going on. I don't usually go through these slides one by one, but we are going to do that today. So as I mentioned, we have our warm-up. You should take a second to think about a structure that happens in your home life. Think about routines, maybe. You can do it in your notebook or here in the Pear Deck. Our objectives and agenda are here again. And as a reminder, we're trying to think about what structures are. So in the Pear Deck, it's going to ask you what you think you should do, and you should do it. Tell me what you think is happening today. We're going to spend a minute before we get too far into our objectives thinking about the essential questions. Yesterday, we spent a whole bunch of time thinking about what is this module going to be about? What are we going to learn? Why are we doing this? And essential questions are something that help us do that. This slide presents 4 questions that we're not trying to answer today. These are questions that we're trying to answer over the next several weeks, right? These are the things that we want to know when we're done with this module. So when you get to this slide, take a few seconds to review. And then we're going to go ahead and start taking a look at Patient Zero at the first couple pages here. Later in this module, there'll be a section where you can listen to me reading. But for right now, go ahead and read the chapter. And as you go, of course, you should be practicing using your informational text reading skills. So before we get into the reading, there are some directions here about, hey, let's make sure we're thinking about what we know regarding informational text. There's a review of the big 3 questions that we talked about at the beginning of Module 1. Remember that this first one, what shocked me, what surprised me. These are things that make you think, I was shocked, I was surprised, I never thought. And we mark these with an exclamation point in our text. The second one is, what did the author think I would know already? These are things where the author thinks we're going to understand one thing, but we really don't. This is kind of things that confuse us, things we didn't know, things that are confusing, things the author assumed. We mark these in the text with a question mark. And the third one, what challenged, changed, or confirmed what I already knew? That's asking us to make connections to our previous learning, right? At first, I used to think, but now I think this. I had to rethink my understanding of this. My understanding changed. I was right or I was wrong. This is just asking us to think critically about what we already know. We mark this with a star. So I'm going to ask you to read the first couple pages of Patient Zero, and you should use the big 3 annotation strategies to help you do that. That's what these pages here want you to do. Then we're going to move on to some notes about nonfiction text structures. You have an option. You can either do this in a notebook. If you're in class with us this day, then you will have a printout you can take notes on, or you can also take these notes on page 10 of your activity book, rather. So we're going to talk about text structures. Text structure is just the way that something complicated gets organized. The way something is set up is its structure. Nonfiction text can have lots of different types of structures because nonfiction text has lots of types of goals. And one text doesn't have to have just one structure. The book we're reading, Patient Zero, has lots of different mini sections that have lots of these different types of structures in them. So today, what you're going to do is you're going to take some time to first understand what these different types of structures are, and then look at a couple examples from the text, from the book, to see how that piece of the book is organized. That's what's happening here. So the next several slides are examples of these different types. I'm not going to read them to you because you're smart people. You can figure it out. Like I said, there are 6 of them. All right. Once you are done taking those notes and finding examples in the book, we are going to look at a specific example on pages 13 and 14 of the book. Um, it's called God Have Mercy on Us. So you're going to open up your activity book and you're going to have your novel open at the same time. You're going to reread that section. I know that you read it once already, but as a reminder, every single time that we are doing a close read, we're going to look at a text multiple times, right? First, you went through to try and get the gist. Then you paused and you went through to figure out what are the structures. And now we're going to look at this one specific example. I don't know why that slide's there. I'm sorry, I'll have to take that out. So which structure is being used in that section? You're supposed to figure that out and let me know here in the Pear Deck. But the answer is on the next slide, so whatever. You're supposed to fill in this organizer here today. It's not very complicated. If you follow the directions on the slides, it will be very easy to do. This is the only activity in Canvas for today. You can also do it here if you prefer. In this first column, you're going to say what page number we're on. In the second column, you're going to say what's the gist. And in the third section, you're going to say which of those structures is in that section. That's all that's happening here. You're telling me 1, 2, 3, what's going on, and how do you know? As a little bit of an exit ticket, there's a question here, which I don't think you guys can see yet. That's fine though. Where you're supposed to tell me about a third section. It's called "It's Not Funny, It's Humoral" on page 12, and tell me which of the text structures is being used there. The main goal for today's lesson is to introduce you to the different types of text structures. So as we go further into the module, we can talk about them with a single language. So if things today are a little bit complicated, that's okay. Don't worry about it. We're gonna get there, no problem. Just to sum up again, what's happening with the work today, you're being asked to look at a small section of the text, just to start getting information about pandemics, making sure we're all on the same page, making sure we all know what an epidemic is, making sure we get that vocab stuff taken care of. We're going to practice using our big 3 reading strategies, and then we're going to do a deep dive on one of these sections to figure out what structure exists. And that's the whole thing, friends. I hope that you are having a great day. I look forward to seeing you real soon. And thanks. Bye.